What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from BackTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today we're going to talk about Eleanor the Great. This is the directorial debut of Scarlett Johansson. This premiered at the 2025 Cannes Film Festival, and it is picked up and being released by Sony Pictures Classics on September 28th, at the end of the month here, just in time for Rosh Hashanah. So I don't know if this makes any sense to watch this time of year, but I feel like the timing. It's also it's not a strong Oscar contender. So if it gets dumped too far into Oscar season when people are trying to catch all of the more major titles, it would just get lost. So it's good that it's dropping now. It stars June Squibb. So if you were upset that she wasn't nominated for Thelma, here's another performance to root for her for that she'll probably get some mentions for along the way. But inevitably, I don't think she'll be one of the final five, which is sad because we once again have another film where the lead character is played by like a 97-year-old actress, and it's just like amazing. Like, what is it? What is even life right now? So, what is Eleanor the Great? Eleanor the Great is a film about a lady named Eleanor who we see her at the beginning, and she's sort of somewhat independently living. She has a best friend. They've been sort of living together for years, and she's she, she's a little salty. She's a little forceful in her ways. She has sort of an excellent scene with her. I knew right from the beginning of the film, I was like, I'm gonna like this film because there's a scene at the beginning where her friend asks, they're in like a grocery store, and she asks for because I guess they're out of kosher pickles, and some young guy, a young unsuspecting guy happens to stumble. He's like, oh, I thought, all pickles are just, he doesn't understand the kosher and like the point of it. And so June Squibb just dresses him down, just absolutely just shames him fully, and like just perfection. Like explains to him, now if you go back to the right and then go, I know this is hard, this is a lot, but we've been coming here for years. This is, the shipment comes in on, and she does like everything about that was a beautiful scene. And eventually she's going to lose her friend, age, and her friend was a Holocaust survivor. And there's a little bit at the beginning when, there's a guy that gets mad at her because she's with her friend and she's like mourning the Holocaust or whatever. And the guy's like, "You're not a Holocaust survivor." And she's like, I know I can't be sad about the Holocaust. You're not a Holocaust survivor either. And her friend stands up for her and says, yes, you can be sad about the Holocaust. So eventually Eleanor is going to end up living with her daughter and her grandson. And she's lonely because her friend passed, and she's looking sort of for a new friend, and she meets this young girl who has a conflicting relationship with her dad at home. There's somebody that's missing in their life, and there's been sort of something missing with her as well. So these two sort of lost souls end up finding each other, and Eleanor decides to start telling her a story, but it's her friend's story and it's not hers. And so she starts telling this young girl who is a journalism major that she is a Holocaust survivor herself. So it's a little bit of that stolen glory type of idea, where somebody pretends to have fought in a war where they don't. Well, here, Eleanor is pretending to have survived something she didn't. And it snowballs out of control rapidly from there, and Eleanor can't really control it. So, I don't want to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil the rest of the movie for you, so that's not my point. It's not the purpose. My purpose is to convince you of seeing the movie if I liked it, or don't see the movie if I don't like it. And I did like the movie. I know critics didn't necessarily fully embrace this movie at Cannes, which is fine. I can see why. I don't think it's necessarily my favorite film of the year, but I do really like this movie. I thought it was really entertaining, and I love June Squibb. I think ever since I really sort of found out June Squibb was a thing with Nebraska, when we started sort of paying a lot more attention to June Squibb, I've liked basically all of her stuff since Nebraska more than Nebraska. I feel like she's just been firing on all cylinders. She was really great in Palmer. She's not in much of that, but she's great for the scenes that she has. Film is amazing. She's fantastic in that. She's fantastic in this. So it's a really late career resurgence for her in life, but it's a perfect one. And her little vocal cameo in Inside Out too is as nostalgia is just I feel like everything she's been doing for the last couple of years has been on point. Just some really great work, and it's a shame that we're just not able to recognize any of it at the Oscars for this kind of stuff. I can see where people might find this a little bit conflicting. There were a couple things that I didn't like about the movie that don't quite make a ton of sense. One of them is the daughter. I found Eleanor's daughter to be a little too abrasive at certain times. One of them being sort of towards the end, when her daughter is sort of aware of everything, she just kind of wrecking balls into a room and just kind of stops and ruins everything. And I'm like, would you have done that? I wouldn't have. I mean, when there's this whole thing going on and you just why? That's your mother. Talk to her about it afterwards. I mean, just the fact that you're there, I think that's probably a directorial choice from Johansson that she didn't catch. It's just simply the presence of having the daughter there, and the knowing would have elicited a conversation later on. It's an overplay. It's overplaying your hand. So a scene that could have had subtext that would have worked better ended up becoming sort of, instead of an unnecessary firework explosion for no reason. So it's not perfect, but it's also Scarlett Johansson's directorial debut. So not everybody's directorial debut is perfect. This film relies heavily on June Squibb to carry the film, which she does at again 97. So can you carry a movie at 97? I don't know that you can. So I think it's kind of amazing how good June is this late into her career. It's amazing. I adore her. And that I think powers a lot of how I feel about Eleanor the Great. So will you like it? Probably. I think it's an easy enough to take film. It does ask some tough questions. There's a little bit of um, a little bit of an ending that just comes full circle and ties everything up maybe a little bit neater or nicer than it needs to. But that's because Johansson kind of doesn't make all of the right decisions towards the end of the film. There's a lot that for an actress who one of her most famous scenes is has been like gnawing at cinephiles for years with like the what did Bill Murray say to her? That scene where it's like he just leans in and says something to her and we don't even know what it is. And it's just that context of seeing those two together and they're just like leaning in and you're like, what? But does it matter? Because they made it work. So for somebody whose career is almost based on subtext, is based on the things left unsaid and how powerful things unsaid can be, that we don't necessarily need to verbalize everything and we don't necessarily need to go for the most obvious choice all the time. I think the fact that she goes for the most obvious, or she does have a character verbalize and that all that stuff happens, I think that's probably the detriment at all of Eleanor the Great, the thing that keeps the film from being the film The Great is just the lighter touch, just a more confident directorial style coming from Johansson. But maybe she'll get there. So if not, she's gonna make a whole bunch of perfectly fine movies. She'll just be somebody who'll make a whole lot of, well, that was good. Wasn't great, but it was good. So that's kind of how I feel about Eleanor the Great. I definitely would recommend it. So I think people should watch Eleanor the Great. Definitely for June Squibb. Like, if for nothing else, for June Squibb. So I'm going to give Eleanor the Great a 7.9 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.